Listen up, hockey fans. You're in the right place. A no-hold-barred debate between two hockey fans. Stay up to date on current issues in the NHL, even the controversial ones. Welcome to The Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud.
It's time for The Debate Hockey Podcast, episode number 12. Tonight on the show, Crawford's injured in Chicago. Is it time for the Blackhawks to find a new backup? Are the Toronto Maple Leafs any good? And will the Avalanche make the playoffs this year? I'm Brad Burud, joined alongside co-host Blake Friars for another edition of The Debate Hockey Podcast.
Inside Edge Hockey News on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. Get connected.
Topic number one on the debate tonight. Corey Crawford of the Chicago Blackhawks goes down with an injury. It's reported that it's vertigo, and they don't know if it's season-ending. Quenneville says it's not. A lot of up-in-the-air speculation on that. But so where do we go in Chicago? Do they go get a new backup, Blake?
I mean, where they are at the standings, they're what? They're close to a playoff spot. I think they're a few points out of the playoffs right now. I think you just run with what you got with their two goaltenders right now. I think it's Forsberg and Jeff Glass. Originally, I thought they would could go out and get a Peter Mrazek, but I looked at their cap issues, and Mrazek's making like $4.5 million, and I don't think they can go out and get a goalie like that. I mean, it'd be nice if they want to go for a playoff run, but I think if you're the Blackhawks, you just hit the reset button. I mean. Okay, well, I'm not saying throw the season away, but I mean, Corey Crawford is one of the best goaltenders in this league, and to see him go down possibly to a season-ending injury is devastating for sure.
They're 5 points out of a spot as we speak right now. Anton Forsberg and Jeff Glass are their backups.
Yeah.
Glass has played in 7 games. Forsberg's played in 16. Both have 3+ goals against average. Glass is at 3.34 and 3.34, and Forsberg's is at 3.15. Both save percentages are virtually the same. 0.905 for Glass, 0.907 for Forsberg. When this injury went down, I don't think, based off what the Blackhawks have done over the years, that they're by any means going to throw this season away.
Mm-hmm. They're too stacked up front.
Well, I would argue that a little bit, but here's the problem with this, though. There's this Chicago thing to me goes deeper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, based off what happened at the draft and what's been going on this season, that things are all happy and good in Chicago.
I think Joe Quenneville's on the hot seat.
I don't think Quenneville wants to be there anymore.
You think? I was actually reading an article about Elliot Friedman.
He's really frustrated over what happened at the draft, the moves that were made.
Traded Panarin. He was angry at that for sure.
That he was not consulted more.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, we can only speculate because I'm not sitting here talking to Quenneville myself. But the fact is, I think this problem in Chicago that has them out of a playoff spot, which we're not used to seeing, runs deeper than goaltending or injuries or whatever. I think it has to do with upper management has some issues.
You can say that about, but Bowman has done it year after year after year. They in 2010 they win the cup. The next year they trade Ladd and Bufflin, and they keep finding ways to win and keep finding ways under the cap. I mean,
they've done an amazing
Stan
job.
Bowman is one of the best GMs in the NHL right now. But
now
Quenneville's been there a long time.
Now,
I mean,
well, if they let Quenneville go,
it's stupid.
He can pick his place.
Anybody can go. He can go anywhere he wants. He's one of the best coaches of all time in the NHL for sure.
Here's one of the biggest problems with the Blackhawks. Because of their signings of Kane, Taves, Saad. I think $6 million for Saad's ridiculous. Seabrook 6.8.
They signed him to that deal too, didn't they? And they got him back. Yeah.
So they have hogtied themselves bad on the cap. And as soon as Crawford went down, everybody was, we got to get somebody. We got to get somebody.
No,
you know what? You can't.
Yeah.
Who are you going to go get?
Yeah.
You're not going to get anybody because, number one, you don't have the cap space.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you're not going to get anybody better than Glass or Forsberg at the price you're going to be able to pay because you're not going to be able to pay anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the real kicker. Next year, Hossa comes back at 5.275.
Well, I think he's retiring, no?
Who said that?
Well,
I think they pushed him away.
well, he's on long-term injury reserve, isn't he, right now?
Yeah.
He's not against the cap, is he?
No.
No, yeah.
But next year he will be.
Yeah.
How long can you keep him on long-term
Well, he's
injury
got
reserve?
a disease. It's allergic to equipment. That was a weird one.
But they've never proven.
I think that was made up.
They've never proven. Well, that's my point. That's my point. So
Guy's hurt. Get him off the cap.
Exactly.
Cheating, just like the Leafs.
So what happens? So what happens? Do they? I mean, they're in big cap trouble. I don't think the goaltending. This topic is about, do they go get somebody for Crawford? My opinion is they can't, because they don't have any room to go get anybody.
Are you sure it's vertigo with Crawford too? I thought it was
that's
just
what
post-concussion syndrome,
but
right?
the symptoms are the same.
Yeah,
So for us, we're not doctors. I mean,
you think he's gonna be? I don't think he plays another game this year. I mean, concussions, the way their lawsuits are right now, and they're just so serious. I mean, every team is taking. I mean, if you get hit in the head, they got concussion spotters everywhere. You have to go into the quiet room and stuff. I mean, they've taken this to the next level the last couple of years.
And they should.
It's good. It's for the safety for sure.
And they should. But do I think he'll play again this year? I think if they're within 4 points going down the stretch, he plays. And I think if they're 6 to 8 points out, no, he doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think this Blackhawks team is going to make the playoffs.
No, I don't. But I have them out of the playoffs too.
Back to our original question, I don't think they can go get anybody.
No, they can't.
Inside Edge Hockey News, faking the slapper and going top shelf.
Topic number 2 on the debate: are the Leafs any good?
Well, yeah, the Leafs are good. I mean, okay, what context are you saying?
Well, okay,
on paper, are they good? On the ice, yeah, they're good. They're a young team.
I don't care at all on paper. Paper doesn't mean
paper.
squat.
Yeah,
but let's look right where they're at. Coming into play tonight, they're at 57 points. They're at third in the Atlantic, sitting in a playoff spot. If the season ended right now, they'd be playing Boston in the first round. But look at this Atlantic division. The Atlantic stinks.
Yeah, they got Montreal,
Tampa
Buffalo.
Bay is good. Boston's good. Toronto's Then you got Florida. No one's even giving them a push. So they're going to make the playoffs. Yeah. Because you got Florida, Montreal, Detroit, Ottawa, and Buffalo. The worst, 5 of the 7 worst teams in the league in that division. So, lucky for the Leafs. Okay, but do you really think
Toronto is good?
Okay.
I've been watching the Leafs a lot the last week.
So let's look at their lines.
Yeah,
so you think they're good? They got Hyman, Matthews, and Nylander on the first. Marleau, Kadri, Komarov on the second. Van Riemsdyk, Bozak, Brown on the third. I like that line.
Yeah, that's good third line.
Martin, this line.
Gauthier?
Yeah, Martin, Gauthier, and Marner on your fourth line.
I mean,
okay.
I don't agree with Babcock the way he uses his lines. I mean, he's got Hyman on the first line with Matthews. Hyman is a bottom 6 forward. I mean,
Hyman's a bottom 6 forward, and he's on their first line.
You got Patty Marleau.
Why not run Marner up there?
Honestly, I would have
I'd have Van Riemsdyk up there and have Marner on the third line.
I would have my first line would be Marleau, Matthews, and Marner. Yeah. That's my first line. And then your second line, you got James Van Riemsdyk, Bozak, and Nylander. And then you run your same third line. And then
Van Riemsdyk, Bozak, and Brown are the third line.
Oh,
so
Kadri's more the third line shutdown guy, though. I think.
The thing is,
you can flip both those lines. Yeah.
So you want to hear my Leafs theory?
What?
Here's my Leafs theory. We get told so much by the media, and I guess all of us are guilty of it, but we get told by the Toronto market and everybody how great these players are and how wonderful they're going to be. Mm-hmm. Do you ever think that maybe that's self-justification that their organization has to tell everybody that they're going to be good? Or otherwise the people would be more pissed off than they already are in Toronto? Because I watch this team, and I'm not saying they're bad.
Yeah. They're a very young team.
This team is not. I mean, people a month ago were like, "Oh, the Leafs are cup contenders." Are you out of your mind?
They're not.
If they
they're
play
not,
Boston in the
not,
first round, they better hope to hell they get through 5.
Be a good series. No, I think Toronto's going to add some pieces. They got some holes though for sure. Their defense.
How are they going to add
pieces?
Defense
is not good. Defense is not.
What
good.
are they going to add? What would you add? They need to go get an Erik Karlsson.
No, they need to get. Well,
they might as well trade Marner.
Erik Karlsson. What?
They're not even using him. Babcock's got him slammed onto the fourth line.
Like I said, I don't agree with Mike Babcock's decisions, but Mike Babcock's one of the best coaches in the NHL.
We're going to find that out, aren't we? We are going to find that out.
Mike Babcock came into Toronto not knowing what the hell he was getting into, right?
Oh, he knew what he was getting into.
He knew what he was getting into, I'm saying, but
he's getting into a pot of money is what he was getting into.
He did get a big luxurious contract, but the team is so young. I mean, look at all their forwards. Marner, Nylander, Matthews, Connor Brown. They're all under the age of 22 years old.
Oh, they're young. I'll give you that.
They got a young core. They're just like the Winnipeg Jets, except they don't have a stacked defense.
Except for they're not good.
They're
like Winnipeg.
They don't have the defense like Winnipeg.
No.
They got the goalie like Winnipeg. Frederick Anderson is a good goaltender.
You that.
Frederick Anderson's one of the elite goaltenders in the league right now.
I think he's good.
What do you think about Anderson's comments? I love it. Something needs to be said. The Leafs have lost 7 of their last 10 games. 4 of them have been in extra time.
I'm not arguing with you on that because I love it when people speak the truth.
For sure.
But you know what? I don't think people have been speaking the truth about the Leafs all year. I don't think this team's that good. Now, they're worlds ahead of Montreal.
They're worlds ahead of everyone in that division except Tampa.
I would hope so.
Whoa.
The division stinks.
But I'm not sold on the Boston Bruins either. The Boston Bruins they're going on this run with 7 rookies in the lineup. Are you kidding me?
What's the difference?
Okay, you're going to get to the playoffs.
What's the difference between that and Colorado?
Those players have never been in the playoffs before, and you think they're just going to run over Toronto in the playoffs?
Toronto doesn't have any playoff experience.
They took Washington to 6 games last year.
Not with any of these. Well,
last year. Yeah.
It's 6 games. Okay,
they took the best team in the Eastern Conference to 6 games last year and had a 2-1 series lead. And the inexperience came into factor, and Washington took over that series.
Okay.
They took Washington to 6 games last year. How are you saying that no experience?
Here's my point. How far are you going in the playoffs? With Gardner, Hainsey,
they got to get
Dermott.
Look what Pittsburgh just did last year. They won with Trevor Daley, Hainsey, Ian Cole. And
I like Ian Cole.
Who was the other guy? Who was that other guy on their top 4?
Do you know what? I think Toronto should go get Ian Cole.
He's overpaid. He's getting $4 million. They can't afford him.
Do you know how many guys, if you really sat down and looked at salaries?
There's so much overpaid players in the league.
Gosh.
So many.
It's out of this world. It's ridiculous.
Everyone gets...
We can say that about a lot of guys.
Evander Kane, for instance, he's 36 points in 46 games, so he's a $5 million player? Like, what?
It's out of
It just makes me shake my head sometimes.
Yeah,
but honestly, the Leafs are one of the best young teams in the Eastern Conference. They're top 3 for sure.
Well, I don't think
Washington's having a terrible year. Pittsburgh's having a terrible year.
Here's one thing.
Tampa Bay has been good. Boston's been good. Toronto's been good. That's it.
Here's one
There's
thing.
6 teams.
Here's one thing that I think it differs in the East and the West. I think there's a lot more young, up-and-coming teams in the West than there is in the East. Now, I think Toronto's going to get...
Like who, though, in the West?
Winnipeg
and who
Calgary,
else?
Colorado.
Calgary's not that young.
Really?
Calgary... At least they're not bringing up their kids yet.
Monahan, Gaudreau.
I mean,
this is a young hockey team.
Okay, but you're talking like a
Kachuk,
young core?
Bennett. Where are you saying they're not?
Their
young?
bottom 6 is pretty
they're
old.
Young,
pretty old. Their bottom 6 they got Stajan, Brouwer,
Mangiapane. They got what? Brouwer's the only older guy.
They got Versteeg.
Versteeg's injured. He's not even going to play anymore.
You don't think so?
No. I mean, they're young. Their problem right now with their bottom 6 is that they're young and inexperienced. Hathaway, I mean, these guys are young. But, I mean, that's a whole other topic. But going back to the Leafs, I think this team's still 4 pieces away from being a good hockey team.
They need. What do you mean? They need 2 D-men.
They need another center. I'm not sold on Bozak.
Bozak. He's a free agent at the end of the year. What about if they clear up some cap and go out getting John Tavares?
Well, Van Riet,
hometown boy.
Tavares is...
Dude, think about it. Look at this. Think about it. They got...
How much cap space do you think they're going to
They got JVR. JVR's getting $6 million.
Yep, he's gone.
Bozak is getting $4 million. That's $10 million right there in 2 players, right? $10 million right there.
Do you know what I would do if I was them?
What?
If they want to be a winner? I would go knock on Ottawa's door,
Erik
their
Karlsson.
biggest rival, and figure out a way to bring Karlsson in.
Well, it would start with Nylander, a first-round pick.
No, it would start. I think Marner. I think is the guy that would go.
Think so?
Because he's in Babcock's doghouse.
Yeah. Well, so is Nylander too. Babcock
and Marner would bring a good reward.
Yeah.
I think they package a deal up with Marner,
first round pick,
and Marner,
and a top defensive prospect. You probably
the Leafs don't have a top defensive.
Yeah, they do. They got Travis Dermott's been playing really well since coming up into the NHL.
Okay,
he's a good, smooth skating defenseman.
Sadly, though, they're going to need him.
They got Timothy Liljegren. They can package him in the deal. Liljegren a first and Marner for Nylander. You tell me they wouldn't do that?
What Marner
Liljegren and a first round pick for Karlsson. You wouldn't do that if you're Ottawa?
I probably would. I think Ottawa needs to. I do.
You really think?
I think this is a deal that could happen.
Yeah.
I think this is a deal, honestly, that would help both teams. I think this deal could happen.
You would have to throw in another big contract, like a Jake Gardner, to send the other way to even out the cap, because what Karlsson's
then
getting.
They're giving away. Then you don't have any defense left.
Yeah.
You got to have somebody. You got to have somebody here for Karlsson to play with. I think you need to look at your guys you're losing. You're losing a Van Riemsdyk. You're losing a Bozak.
If you're going out to get Karlsson, that's a pretty steep price to pay when you can just go sign him 2 years later in free agency, or go out and get a Drew Doughty in a year and a half.
Well, I guess that's something you got to consider.
You know what I mean?
Karlsson
and Drew Doughty are both free agents in a year and a half.
Yeah.
Are they going to pay that steep of a price to get a 1.5 year rental?
Well, I think you got to find out too. Is Toronto,
I'm with you though.
Is Toronto even on Karlsson's radar though?
Why wouldn't you want to go to Toronto right now?
I wouldn't.
Why?
I don't know.
Would you rather go play? Where would you rather go play? Besides Winnipeg, where would you rather go play in a Canadian market?
I'm just saying.
Toronto is
not. What I'm saying is not everybody's going to want to walk into the Babcock house.
He's a good coach. He's stubborn, and he gets the best out of his players. He's exactly like John Tortorella. Right?
Yeah,
correct?
No, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying a lot of people don't want to go to Toronto and play in that market.
Well, yes and no. I mean,
it's true. Some guys love that.
If you're a center or a winger, you're telling me, okay, I can go play with Austin Matthews. For sure, I'm gonna go play with Matthews.
Oh, absolutely. They have way more tools than they had 3 years ago. I'm not arguing that with you. I'm just saying that I think they need to get a defenseman to help this team out. And that defenseman is going to help the forwards out because it's going to give them... I mean, think about Karlsson taking the puck out of the zone up to Matthews and Marner. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Think about what that...
Well, Morgan Rielly kind of does that right now, but that's it.
Except Morgan Rielly's not good.
What?
He's not even on the radar compared to Karlsson.
No, I'm not comparing him to Karlsson. He's still a good defenseman.
Yeah, I mean, so...
He's got 36 points in 40 games as a D-man. How is that not good? What are you saying right here?
I'm not 100% sold on Morgan Rielly.
Morgan Rielly is a good top 4 D-man on any team in the NHL.
Okay.
Besides,
okay, but he's not a leader of.
But
he's not a leader of a defensive core. So that's what we have. That's what we're talking about here, though. We have to go get somebody that's going to be a top end defenseman for this team, right? Right?
I don't know if you really do need. Why would you go out and spend? Okay, why would you go out?
So you think you just keep it status quo and go?
No, you don't keep it status quo. You just plug small pieces in there. Go out and get a Mike Green,
Ian Cole.
Go out and get those solid top 4 D-man that are $3 million cheaper than Karlsson.
3. They're probably more than that when Carlson
Well,
gets paid.
Carlson's going to get like 10, 11 million bucks
I
a
know.
year. Toronto can't afford that.
And the problem there is,
and you got to pay. You still got to pay.
Matthews, Nylander, Marner. Yeah, I mean, no, I know. It's the same.
The deal could get done, but you wouldn't be able to sign him.
And I'm a cap guy where I don't like what the Blackhawks did. I think they've hogtied themselves, and I think the Leafs might do that too. But
Vancouver did the same thing. He signed Louis Eriksson 6.6 times 6, and now they're going to be stuck in them for 4 years.
Yep. I don't know. I just think maybe your solution of plugging the holes with those guys is the key. But I do think they have holes to plug.
I mean, they do, but this team's gonna make noise in the playoffs. Trust me here. They will. They're gonna, if they play Boston, they're gonna take them down.
InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com, your inside source for interviews with players and members of the hockey world. InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com.
Topic number 3 on the debate: will the Avalanche make the playoffs this year?
There's a good chance they make the playoffs, but
what is it, Blake? Are you in or are you out?
I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to sneak in that wild card spot. To be honest, they could even catch St. Louis. They're only 4 points back of St. Louis. They win tonight. They're 2 points out of the third in the division.
Which is crazy. Another thing to think about it.
9 wins in a row.
And another thing to think about is they played 45 games and St. Louis has played 49. So they have 4 games in hand.
Exactly.
No,
and they're 4 points out.
I'm not going to argue with you on the fact that I don't think this team is good. I think this is a good hockey team.
This team has came a long way from last year. And it's just it really honestly it's
fun to see.
Hard to put my mind around what this team has done since the December 29th to today. They've won 9 games in a row, 37 goals for.
Do you know
14 goals against? Nathan McKinnon's got 19 points in 9 games.
That tonight was the first time during that whole streak, bringing back to whatever day in December you said,
29th,
is that they trailed in a game.
Yeah, today.
Tonight was the first time they trailed.
Yeah.
And now that's hard to fathom.
I know.
That's unreal.
That's
you've
10
got
games
guys
straight.
like Mikko Rantanen's got 46 points in 45 games. You got McKinnon who's got
59
points. Guess what? Last season he had 53 points all year
long. Yeah,
he's at his career high is 64.
Yeah, he's gonna on pace for 100 points.
He's at 59 right now.
Yeah,
he's a Hart candidate in my mind.
Oh, for sure he is.
Since Duchesne's gone, he's first line center. He's quarterback in that first power play.
He's playing the point in the power play.
Yeah, he's confident. He's composed, and he is burying every single chance he gets.
Yeah, he's got 19 points in 9 games. Jonathan Bernier has started 13 games in a row, and he's got 9 straight wins. This guy got ran out of Toronto when he came over from LA. He was not good. He was letting goals in from center ice. Last year he gets traded 2 years ago he gets traded to Anaheim. This year Colorado takes a chance. We'll see.
We've seen that happen with a lot of goalies.
And now he's one of the hottest goalies in the NHL right now.
We've seen that happen with a lot of goalies. I mean, career Bernier in his career. I mean, he's a .915 in his career, 2.65. That's not horrible. But you're right. He's had his struggles.
Yeah.
He struggled in
Toronto.
He was better, I thought, in L.A. actually.
Well, he was backing up quick.
And he came in and won them a lot of big games and stuff. But it's impressive how this team has done this.
But
when you look at their lineup,
to Bernier's defense, though, I mean, Toronto's defense was not good when he was there.
No.
It was. They didn't have anybody up front.
They
had Kessel, JVR, and Bozak.
That was a bad Leafs team.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when Dubnyk was in Edmonton.
Yeah.
It's like, well, how are you going to have good numbers?
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of goaltenders, their numbers are based off how good a team they have in front of them.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they still have to produce and stuff. Mm-hmm. But you know why I think the Avalanche are winning? They're young.
They're fast.
They don't know any better.
Yeah.
And they're super fast. They're working together. And you watch this team, they outwork their opponents.
Oh, for sure they do.
Oh, it's
quick.
crazy.
They're well coached, too.
And that's why they're winning, because they've all bought into the system and they're working. If you look at their roster right now, you'd laugh. You'd be like, yeah, this team's not going to do very well. If you look at their lineup
on
right
paper,
now.
yeah, it's not
going to do very good.
No.
You know, I was
You
looking
got
at
Eric Johnson as a top 2 D-man. Like, huh?
I was looking at Money Puck today, which is a neat little website if you want to get odds and projections and predictions and stuff. It's kind of a neat site. Right now, as of last night, they have it that there's a 74.36 chance that the Avalanche make the playoffs, 34.5 that they make the second round, 16.6 that they make the third round, 8.3 that they make the finals, and a 4.1% chance they win the cup. That's pretty high for a team that if you would have looked at this at the beginning of the year, it would have been
0.0000.
flip-flop on numbers there on percentages, and that's crazy. But the question at hand here was, are they going to make the playoffs?
No, they are going to make playoffs.
I'm going to throw out one reason why I think they're not going to make the playoffs. The reason I think they're not is their record at home is 18-7-1. Their record on the road is 8-9-2. Their schedule is weighted to the road heavily. They're heavily. They have a lot of games on the road coming up, and they also play in their next 39 games. 16 of them are in division.
Yeah, you're playing Winnipeg,
which is against
Chicago.
a Nashville, Winnipeg, St. Louis, and Dallas, Minnesota, and Chicago. That whole division is really good. Really good. Even Chicago, who's in dead last in that division, it's the Chicago Blackhawks. They're in dead last. Think about that. So they got to play 16 of 39 against divisional opponents, and plus they've got to play a lot more road games than they do home games down the stretch. And they haven't been real good on the road. So that's why I think they're just going to fall short of that wild card spot.
But so right now in the wild card hunt, you got Dallas in first wild card.
Yep.
Colorado in second. LA. Okay, so they're tied with LA, but they got the tiebreaker over LA, and they're tied with Minnesota. Anaheim is 3 points out. Chicago, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Arizona are making the playoffs this year.
I agree.
They're not making the
I
playoffs
agree.
this year. So really,
You know who takes them out of that spot?
It's a 4-team race for one spot, and
I
it's
think
not going to be LA because LA is going to catch Calgary for third. Or they're going to catch San Jose. Calgary's going to get second in that.
I think the Central, the top three, where they are today at Nashville, Winnipeg, and St. Louis.
That's how it's going to stay.
How it's going to stay.
Yeah.
I think in the Pacific, I think those three teams are going to be those three teams. I just don't think it might be a little bit different order.
I think San Jose is going to. I think they're going to fall out. To be honest, Father Time is catching up to that team.
I know.
And
I know, but
they're running out of time.
I think San Jose is going to be the team that makes the biggest splash on deadline day.
Who are they going to go get?
I got a feeling that's
Evander Kane? No, not happening.
Not
happening.
I think that's where he's going.
That's not happening.
And I don't know that Evander.
You told me he's going to L.A. last week.
I don't.
Now you're changing your L.A. California.
Oh, just down the road.
Now you're changing your story.
I don't know that Evander Kane's going to be the best grab.
Who's the best grab?
I don't know yet. There's going to be somebody else that me and you are going to look at each other.
Thomas Vanek on pace for 60 points.
Me and you are going to look at each other and be like, "Ugh, that's a good pickup."
Okay, but seriously though, Colorado is going to sneak in.
I think Dallas is going to get a wild card spot, and I think Anaheim is the other one that's going to move in.
They got a lot of center depth now.
Anaheim, and they're healthy now. I like Anaheim. I don't know that Anaheim doesn't work their way into the top three in the Pacific. I like Anaheim.
They gotta make up some big ground.
Oh, they do, and they keep. Just when I say that too, then they lose last night, and it's like, whoa,
they got killed.
So but that I'm sticking to it. I still think Colorado misses it because two reasons: they have a ton of road games ahead of them, a ton of divisional games, and they're young.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's gonna be a good race here for the playoffs in the Western Conference for sure.
So you're in?
Yeah, I'm in.
I'm out.
Inside Edge Hockey News. Dropping the gloves. And stirring the pot.
Thanks for joining us on the Debate Hockey Podcast. Check out Inside Edge Hockey News for all your hockey news. Follow us on all forms of social media and download the Debate on your favorite podcatcher. Check us out on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeart, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy this week's hockey action.
InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com and on Twitter at InsideEdgeHOCKE and Facebook at Inside Edge Hockey News. We'll catch you next time.
This episode was produced by Inside Edge Hockey News Radio and distributed by the Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.